Imagine this. Your car breaks down on a Tuesday morning. Not a small thing, the transmission. The mechanic gives you a number, $1,800. And in that moment, before you even finish the sentence, you already know the answer. You open your banking app, you look at your savings balance, and there's $340 in there. Not because you're irresponsible, not because you don't care, but because every time you tried to save, life found a way to make sure you didn't. That's not a willpower problem. That's not a discipline problem. That is a system problem. And today, I'm going to show you how to fix it without changing your lifestyle, without cutting your coffee, and without thinking about it again after today. My name is Harvey, and this is the Invisible Savings System. Here's what nobody tells you about why saving is hard. Every personal finance article, every YouTube video, every well-meaning family member gives you the same advice. Spend less than you earn and put the difference away. And they're not wrong, but they're describing the outcome, not the system. When you try to save manually, meaning you get paid, you pay your bills, you spend on your life, and then you try to put whatever's left into savings, you are asking your brain to make a sacrifice every single month against an opponent it cannot beat. That opponent is the present. Your brain is wired to value things that exist right now over things that exist in the future. A full tank of gas today feels more real than a financial cushion 6 months from now. A dinner out on Friday feels more urgent than a transmission repair you haven't needed yet. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience. And no amount of motivation or budgeting apps changes the underlying wiring. The only way to win this game is to stop playing it. The Invisible Savings System works on one principle. Money you never see cannot be spent. If your paycheck is $3,200 and $200 automatically moves to a savings account the moment it arrives, before you open your banking app, before you buy coffee, before you even think about it, that $200 was never really yours to spend. Your brain registers $3,000 as your paycheck, and it adjusts. This is called paying yourself first, but most people treat it like an idea instead of a mechanism. Here's how you build the mechanism. 4 steps. Step 1. Open a separate savings account at a different bank. Not a savings tab inside your checking app, a completely separate institution. The friction of logging into a different bank, waiting 2 to 3 business days for a transfer, that friction is the point. You want your savings to feel slightly unreachable. Not locked away, just inconvenient enough that you don't touch it casually. Step 2. Set up an automatic transfer for the day after payday. Not the day of, the day after. That 1-day gap means your bills clear first, and you never accidentally overdraft. The amount doesn't matter right now. We'll talk about the number in a moment. What matters is that the transfer is automatic, recurring, and requires 0 decision from you once it's set up. Step 3. Start with an amount that feels almost embarrassingly small. This is where most people fail. They calculate what they should save, feel overwhelmed, save nothing. Instead, start with $50 a month, or $25. The number is almost irrelevant at this stage. The habit, the mechanism, is everything. You can increase it later. You cannot build the habit retroactively. Step 4. Treat the savings account like it doesn't exist. Don't check it for motivation. Don't watch it grow. Don't celebrate milestones. Set it, forget it, and let compound consistency do the work. The less emotional energy you attach to it, the less likely you are to interfere with it. Now, let's make this real. If you automate $200 a month, that's $46 a week, or about $650 a day, here's what happens over time. At 6 months, $1,200. At 12 months, $2,400. At 18 months, $3,600. At 24 months, $4,800. For the average American household, $4,800 covers roughly 1 to 2 months of core expenses. You've doubled that with 0 effort after setup. Now scale it. If you increase the transfer by $50 every 6 months, which most people can do as they get small raises or pay off a debt, you reach the full 6-month target inside 4 years, without ever feeling like you're sacrificing anything. That $1,800 transmission repair? Covered. The medical bill, the flight home for a family emergency, the job loss that gives you 3 months of runway instead of 3 weeks of panic, covered. Not because you were disciplined, because you built the system once and let it run.
Let me show you what this actually looks like over a decade. Person A automates $200 a month starting at age 28. They never increase it, they never think about it. By age 38, they have $24,000 sitting in a high-yield savings account, plus whatever interest it earned. They have never once felt the pain of saving. Person B earns the same income. They intend to save. They save manually when they remember, when there's money left, when they feel motivated. By age 38, they have $3,100, accumulated in small bursts between emergencies that drained it back down. Same income, same 10 years. The only difference is the system. Here's what I want you to take from this. You are not bad with money. You were just handed a model that doesn't work. One that relies on you making the right decision every single month, against your own psychology, forever. Nobody wins that game consistently. The invisible savings system doesn't ask you to be better. It asks you to set something up once, step out of its way, and let the mechanism do what mechanisms do. Open the account today. Set up the transfer tomorrow. Start with $25 if that's what's real for you. You don't need to feel it to build it. Let me show you what $200 a month actually costs per day. $6.50. The price of a coffee you bought this week without a second thought. Not because you're careless, because $6.50 doesn't feel like a financial decision. It feels like Tuesday. That is exactly why this system works. The amount is invisible at the daily level. The accumulation is not. Because here is what a fully funded emergency account actually does in practice. It is the phone call from the hospital where you are completely present, because the financial question was already answered before you picked up. It is the flight booked the same hour you get the news, without calculating whether you can afford it. It is the morning your job disappears and you drive home with 3 months of runway instead of 3 days of panic. The money doesn't change the hard thing. It changes what you're able to bring to it. And the system scales without effort. Every time a small raise arrives, every time a debt clears and frees up a monthly payment, redirect $50 of it into the transfer. 1 step up the staircase. At that pace, the full 6-month target arrives inside 4 years. Not through sacrifice, through a system that climbs so gradually you don't feel it moving. So here is this week, made simple. Today, open the account. 15 minutes, different bank. Tomorrow, set the automatic transfer. Day after payday, whatever amount is honest right now. Then, leave it alone. The transmission will break again. The bill will arrive. The emergency will happen. And when it does, you will open the app, see the number, and it will be enough. Not because you were disciplined, because you built the system once and then got out of its way.